All right, everybody, welcome back. It is week 6. I am Mike Kadlick from WEEI, joined here by CLNS Media's very own Taylor Kyles on Patriots Press Pass. Taylor, I cannot believe it's week 6. I can't believe this is already the 6th time we're recording this show. But what myself and Taylor have for you today is the week 6 betting lines for some games to watch across the NFL. You can look at them, you can bet on them. We're going to try and give you some advice. If you don't like our advice, what you can do is go to OddsR, who is the presenting sponsor for this podcast, for this show. Check them out at oddsr.com/presspass. They will give you a 30-day free trial. And basically what they do is use AI and some metrics and some other numbers that Taylor might understand. Maybe I don't really understand as much. And so they'll shoot you out the numbers. They'll tell you green means go to take the bet, yellow means maybe, and red means stay away. It's that simple. You can check it out at oddsr.com/presspass. They'll give you all the numbers for that. And if you want to just hear about the games and hear about what me and Taylor think about the games, you can just listen to this podcast. What we're going to do, we're going to start with I hate to have to claim them as our New England Patriots heading to Vegas this weekend. They are 2.5 point underdogs, according to FanDuel Sportsbook. The total is 41.5. If you're feeling risky and you think the Patriots get off the schneid here, you can bet them on the money line at plus 132. That's enough for me, Taylor. I'll tee it up a little bit more and just say that the Patriots aren't in a great spot. Neither are the Raiders. We have some friendly foes in Josh and Jimmy and Jacoby. So that'll be the interesting storylines in this one. But ultimately, from what we've seen this week and what we've seen from both of these teams this season, how do you think this one plays out?
It kind of reminds me of last week where you got an offense that's kind of similar to the Patriots, but they have way better weapons and a quarterback that doesn't really scare you. But unlike last week, I don't think the Raiders defense is even close to what the Saints defense was. So I really do think that if the Patriots offense is going to get back on track, this is the week to do it. And I've been telling you, if they lose this week, especially if they lose in embarrassing fashion, that's where you're kind of like, all right, a line in the sand has been drawn. It right. Barely matters what happens after this because then you play the Dolphins and the Bills. But this is the last time I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. So I am going to say that they win this game. I think it'll be close just because it's going to be a low-scoring affair. Over, I would probably go under. Set your expectations low for this game, especially with J.C. Jackson being in his second week back. I think they'll have a good plan for Devontae Adams. They're not going to let him kill them. So, yeah, man, Patriots' last chance. I hope they can get it done.
So I am like a week ahead of schedule in terms of your thinking. Like last week was my last straw for this team. I thought, okay, Jets game, you get a win, but they don't look good. Dallas, it's like, all right, let's bounce back and show them. They get blown out. At that point, I was like, all right, one more opportunity. It's the Saints, a winnable game, bad quarterback, like you just said. They get their doors blown off. So I don't think I could do them again. I just can't back them right now. Like you said, it's totally fair. This season right now, it is on the brink, like you said. This does feel like a final straw. There is a hot seat feeling surrounding Bill Belichick, surrounding Mac Jones, surrounding this whole team. So this is the make or break, do or die week. It feels like you said, heading into that Miami and Buffalo sort of doubleheader coming up. But right now, from what we've seen, I just can't trust them. I just can't. So I'm going to take the Raiders minus 2.5. And I agree with you on the total. Under 41.5. It feels like another low scoring affair for the Patriots and the Raiders, who have yet to score 20 points so far this season. So keeping it.
What a game, man. Crazy. What a game.
Yeah, should be good. But we will keep it in the AFC East here for a big spread where Bryce Young, first overall pick, and his Carolina Panthers are traveling south to the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are almost 2 touchdown favorites at 13.5 points, according to FanDuel, and the total is 47.5. Obviously, we've seen what the Dolphins can do on offense. They had the little hiccup, I guess, against Buffalo. Then they came back last week and tore it up once again against the Giants. Carolina, rumor has it that unlike the Patriots, the Panthers are actually trying to make some moves and go out and get their young quarterback and number 1 wide receiver. Don't know where their heads are at, but that might be interesting for Bryce Young. But again, almost 2 touchdown underdogs in this one. What do you see here? Do you think this is too big of a line, or do you think Miami can roll again?
This is such I never want to take I would never want to take a team that's favored by this much. That's a very scary proposition. but the Panthers are not good.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm just not going to overthink this one. I could like talk myself into a tizzy. I'm just going to say just like push it all on the Dolphins, because if they lose this one, I think that's just a huge like swerve from what they've done
Right.
so far this season. And they don't. Connor Williams, I saw, is out. I seen that they've had Robert Hunt, who's a really underrated guard. He was limited with a knee injury, so that does hurt. But at the same time, when Tua's getting the ball out in under 2 seconds, it really helps the offensive line. So yeah, just Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they got off their sort of dip after the Buffalo game with the Giants last week. Now they go back home again. This offense is nasty. This offense rolls. They add Chase Claypool, who for some reason Tyreek Hill called a vending machine this week. But he adds like a different element to just their short, quick, fast guys. He's sort of like you can put him anywhere on the field, and when he's not I guess complaining like he was all the time in Chicago, he can be a pretty good wide receiver. He's young, he has some promise. That defense, again, not as great as you'd like to see from Miami, but that offense just sort of outpaces everyone, which is why I like Miami, and I also like the over 47.5. I think if it does turn into not really a shootout, because again, I think Miami's going to probably win by 2 touchdowns, but Bryce Young starts to throw late. I think there's going to be some holes in that defense. So I think Carolina can put up some points here, but ultimately I think Miami wins and covers this one by the 2 touchdown spread. Speaking of spread, speaking of money lines, let's quickly listen to our friends at FanDuel. They're going to give you some words of encouragement and advertisement here.
Into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
That's FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Make sure you go to FanDuel.com/Boston to get in on all of the betting action. Not just the betting action that myself and Taylor are telling you about, but they got college basketball coming up soon, college football, obviously, baseball playoffs right now. So again, get in on the action, America's #1 sportsbook. If you go to FanDuel.com/Boston. Staying in the AFC East once again, we're going to go through the entire division here. Giants at Bills. Another big spread. Bills 14.5-point favorites against the Giants. Total is 44.5 at FanDuel. The big news today out of New York is that Daniel Jones will not be playing due to that neck injury he suffered last week. So they're going to throw, I believe it's Tyrod Taylor as their backup quarterback, into the mix in this one against his old team in the Bills at home. So he does have some familiarity in the stadium. Could be interesting if that plays a factor at all, and then maybe keeping this one close. But the Bills, they're starting to roll again. They lost in London, right? They lost to the Jaguars last week. Because I think there was a little bit of a blow up.
Lost to the Jaguars 25-20, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of a blow up between him and Diggs again, but looks like the sportsbooks thinks this one's going to be a bounce back for them as they are 14.5-point favorites. So Taylor, what do you think? Is this a bounce back spot for Buffalo, or do the Giants keep this one close?
It's got to be. There's so many injuries to the Giants offense, and the Bills defense has some huge injuries. They just lost Matt Milano and Trey White for the year. Teron Johnson in the slot, one of the better slot corners in the league. I think he's hurt right now as well. Yeah. There's just a lot of things that scare you on this Bills team, on this Giants team, even though the Bills are in rough shape. So, I say they bounce back. This is another one I'm just going to go with my head, even though, again, I hate spreads this big. It makes sense because I don't see how much hope the Giants have in hanging in on this one.
So this is one of those you go back and forth 3 times and you outsmart yourself because, it's a big spread. Because the Giants don't have anyone and the Bills lost last week. And so this is a bounce back. But why is it more than 2 touchdowns? You go back and forth in your head. I'm going to keep it simple. These are still 2 NFL teams. And no matter how good or bad one team is, ultimately they both, are good enough to play professional football. And that being said, I am going to take the Giants with the points. Again, Tyrod Taylor, a little bit of a, revenge game. I don't think he had any ill will towards the Buffalo Bills, but again, he goes back to Buffalo. There's probably going to be a ton of Tyrod Taylor Bills jerseys in the stadium, which that would be quite the sight to see. I don't think Saquon Barkley's going to be back quite yet. So you're right. Those Giants do have some injuries, but again, I think Buffalo is going to win. Like I think they'll probably win pretty handily too, whether it's a 7 or 10 point game. But over 2 touchdowns just feels like a lot of points for a Giants team that was pretty good last year. And is still, I guess, trying to get comfortable in Brian Daboll's system. So I'm going to take the Giants with the points, and I'm going to take the under 44.5. I think with, Buffalo struggling a little bit last week, still trying to get their wheels going. The Giants obviously not having their full go, I guess, with the quarterback. I'm going to go with the under. So again, I say Bills plus 14.5. Taylor says, I say Giants. Taylor says Bills. I think we both agree on the under. So we'll get to the next one in the AFC East, which is the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the New York Jets. The Eagles are 7-point favorites. The Jets might actually have a good quarterback, it seems. Zach Wilson all of a sudden playing decent football. We talked about it last week. We both took the Jets. The Jets succeeded. They beat the Broncos in Denver. Wilson wasn't great, but ultimately a win's a win. Doesn't matter if it's the Broncos, even though we saw them get pumped a little bit last night on Thursday Night Football. Having said that, the Jets have a little bit of moxie, a little bit of mojo going here. 7-point home underdogs, and the total is 41. The Eagles undefeated, 5-0, and they still haven't really hit their stride yet. Like I feel like they're just slowly coasting through an undefeated season right now, and nobody's really talking about them. So I think they still have a lot in the tank to kind of get going here. Do the Jets keep their winning ways going, or do the Eagles come out and show why they are the defending NFC champions, Taylor?
This feels like a trap because the Jets are so good at keeping games close. Just like that defense, they play really hard. And the Eagles are a good team, but I think this may be the first game where I get a little frisky, and I'm going to take the points here. I'm going to say the Jets keep it close again. I've been boring so far this show, so yeah, why not? Like, put your money on the Jets just because they've been fighting like really, really hard, and I don't want to bet against them, especially after the past couple weeks. So yeah, take the points.
I'm flipping it on you. I'm going opposite this time again. I'm taking it. I think it's I think the Eagles come out and show again why they are the defending NFC champions. Like I said, they're kind of coasting right now, and they're still just winning games. So I think like you said, the Jets do fight, and you're right about that. They fought hard against Kansas City. They just won last week in Denver. But at what point does it feel like, okay, we're just fighting and fighting and fighting, and at the end of the day, we're not going to be competing at the end? And when does the give up and the sort of, walking through things sort of start to happen? Yeah. Although they're at home coming off a win, I think that's this week. So I'm going to take the Eagles -7, and I'm going to take the over 41 as well. Jets maybe score a touchdown, but I think if Philly rolls and gets their offense clicking, they could score anywhere from 31 to 35 points, even though this Jets defense is really good. I just think when Philly's on, they're on, and I think they get it clicking this week. That's just my feeling on the game. Before we continue on, let's eat. Let's talk about our friends over at Factor Meals.
Fall season already in swing. You might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, can help you fuel up fast with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Too busy this fall to cook? But want to make sure you're eating well? With Factor, skip the extra trip to the grocery store and the chopping, prepping, and cleaning up too, while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality you need. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes. So all you have to do is heat and enjoy, then get back to crushing your goals. Looking for calorie-conscious options during the busy season? Try the delicious dietitian-approved Calorie Smart meals with around less than 550 calories per serving. This September, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered to your door. Ready in just 2 minutes. No prep, no mess. Head to factormeals.com/presspass50 and use code PRESSPASS50 to get 50% off. That's code PRESSPASS50 at factormeals.com/presspass50 to get 50% off.
You heard the man. Press past 50. Go get your 50% off those Factor meals. They're really good. I can attest to it. Taylor can attest to it. Pretty good food down there at Factor Meals. So we got two more for you here, folks, before we kick this thing off and kick off our Sunday of football. And it's the Detroit Lions at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I actually wrote about this one a little bit more in depth on clnsmedia.com for my betting predictions column every single week there. So you can check that out as well, because this game excites me. It's two teams in the Lions and the Bucks, 4-1 Lions, 3-1 Bucks, two teams that are frisky, but you think they're frisky, but they're actually just really good football teams. Like the Lions are solid. Baker Mayfield sort of revitalizing himself a little bit after, hopping around the Panthers and the Rams last year and kind of just not really, kind of being in quarterback no man's land last year. He's come in here and actually performed well post Tom Brady, unlike another team that me and Taylor may or may not cover, the New England Patriots, not succeeding post Brady. I continue to find these little jabs at the Patriots because we just got to make it fun while we cover this game. Yeah, well exactly. So yeah, again, the Lions here are 3-point road favorites heading to Tampa. The over-under is 42.5. Before we talk about the game, I did find one thing really interesting this week that Dan Campbell had to say, and it was he was talking about Jahmyr Gibbs and saying that Jahmyr Gibbs, he's like our gadget guy, he's our change of pace back. Like David Montgomery's our bell cow, and we just kind of use Gibbs for fun. And I was like, okay, that was your 12th overall pick. Like I feel like that's the guy who should be your bell cow, who you should be building around. But they're 4-1, so it's hard to give them crap for it. That team's probably going to win the NFC North at this rate because the rest of their division is kind of a disaster. But again, Tampa's frisky, a team that nobody expected this year, now 3-1 and leading their division. So Taylor Kyles, over under 42.5, Lions -3. What do you make of this one?
I'm going to take the under here.
Okay.
Just because I think these are two really tough teams. I also would take the points just because I think this could be a really, really close game. The Buccaneers, they played a couple not great teams to start the year, but they played two good teams in the Saints. Not great offense, but that's a very good defense. And they really were competitive against the Eagles. So I think they're going to keep this one close as well. And yeah, I would rather take the points because I feel like this one's going to come down to the wire.
All right. For me, I'm taking the Lions -3. And I'll probably regret it. But the last time I bet against the Lions, they screwed me there too. So I don't like betting against Jared Goff. I feel like he has a little chip on his shoulder right now. Obviously, Dan Campbell has a chip on his shoulder. And this is kind of how I felt about, I guess, the Jets going into this season. And obviously they did turn into the Jets. But like everyone was down on the Jets and saying, oh, they're not going to win the division. And everyone's too high on them and saying it's the Jets. Like, okay, but they're just a really good football team with really good players. Everyone says that about the Lions too. Oh, they're the Lions. They'll never be good. The Lions stink. But the Lions have good players and they're just a good football team. That's what it comes down to for me. I like the Lions -3. I agree with the under 42.5 as well. Two defenses that can be, again, I keep using the word frisky for this game because that's just kind of what this one feels like. So low scoring game, Lions win by 3 or more. Last one here for you all is Monday Night Football. Dallas Cowboys at Los Angeles Chargers at SoFi Stadium. We have some more home dogs here because the Chargers are +2.5 in their home stadium, even though it's the Chargers. So it'll probably be mostly Cowboys fans anyway out in LA this weekend. A high total here at 50.5. The Cowboys, after their blowout win against the Patriots, go and get blown out by the San Francisco 49ers last week. So they're down for the count a little bit. The Chargers just kind of seem like an up and down team. I'm a huge Justin Herbert fan, but he's kind of feels like the only thing going for that team. There's a lot of talent, but it just can't get going, which explains why they're home dogs. Do the Cowboys bounce back this week, Taylor? Do the Chargers find a way to get a win? What do you think?
I feel like the Cowboys offense will just be able to take advantage of a bad Chargers defense, but I don't think the Chargers are going to take advantage. Not take advantage because I think the Cowboys have a legitimately good defense. The Niners are going to run it up against anybody. They're so talented, and Brock Purdy's in his bag right now. This is tough because I hate picking against Justin Herbert. He's so good, but I'm going to get this one to the Cowboys on the strength of their defense, and I'll take the under.
Interesting. So I think, Taylor, for most of this show, we have been against each other. And it's going to continue with this Monday Night Football pick because I am with you. Yeah, themes are good, and then we can argue about it all week when you probably win all your picks and I probably lose. But I'm gonna go with the Chargers because you're right. I like Justin Herbert. I don't like betting against Justin Herbert. I look at this game and I see over 50.5 to me. I think this could be a shootout. I know, like you said, Dallas's defense is good. I obviously learned that the hard way a few times this season with these OddsR predictions, and also when the Patriots lost to them and only put up 3 points. But I do still trust Justin Herbert. I think Kellen Moore, sneaky good offensive coordinator. He has all the weapons out there on that offense. I don't think Austin Eckler is going to play again. Actually, no, I do think Austin Eckler is playing this week. Excuse me on that. So they get their running back, Justin Herbert's security blanket. So I'm going to take the Chargers plus 2.5, and I'm going to take the over 50.5. So with that being said, that is going to do it for us. He is Taylor Kyles. Make sure you follow him at tkyles39. Check out all his work at clnsmedia.com. Obviously does a great job breaking down the film. Tons of film reviews on there, very informative stuff. So make sure you go check that out from Taylor. You can follow me at Mike Kadlick on Twitter. You can read all my work at WEEI.com as myself and my friend Taylor Kyles continue to cover this New England Patriots team. You can also go to oddsr.com/presspass for a 30-day trial of OddsR to get the best and most sound betting advice through AI. And if you want to bet on some games, go to FanDuel.com/Boston. They'll give you some bonus bets. So again, thank you for watching, everyone. We appreciate it, and we will talk to you again next week.
New FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube at YouTube TV.